Hey guys, Drew here. Just wanted to let you all know that this video was made possible by my friends JJ, Corrbin, Tyrell, Jack, who wasn't in this video, and Evan. Thank you all for being in this video. They are my good friends, and I hope that they can appear more in future videos. Without further introduction, please enjoy the video. I have nightmares, or I'm trapped in a shower. That was not a typo, that is literally how it is written. The drain is plugged, and the water won't stop pouring down on me. Water rises to my ankles, to my waist, and then over my head. The shower curtain turns to glass, as it does, and my screams turn to gargles. A dark figure presses its face against the glass on the other side, and it watches me. I plead, but it won't let me out. I swallow water and flail helplessly in my glass coffin. Oh, I wake up gagging. I know where the nightmare came from. Probably the brain, but nevertheless, I have to dig deep. The incidents are never far from my subconscious. Finding it is rather easy. Getting over it is not.
The summer, my 12th birthday, which I'm still salty about because I had 11 candles instead of 12 on my cake because my mom is cheap. When Larry the Cable Guy's family moved in across the street, 3 people, one of them in a really old traffic light. She was tiny, frail, skeletal, like that girl in my class. LOL, she's thin. Thin white hair, faded, body like a back road, driving with my eyes closed. I know every curve like the back of my hand. Her hand hung from her noose and it tightened as the man pushed her out of the chair into her death. At the time I couldn't figure out if she was alive or dead, even though I just said she was dead.
A few minutes later, she appeared in an upstairs window, sitting in her wheelchair. She was directly facing my bedroom, and I cautiously peered out from behind my curtains, because stalking is okay. Her head was upright now, okay, and she stared at me. Just stared, without moving her head an inch. I closed my grapes. Oh wait, that's supposed to be drapes. I'll probably edit it out later. I closed my grapes. Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
For days, she sat at the window. She watched the cars putter down our suburban road and gazed at the neighborhood kids scurrying through their yards. I never saw anyone else in the room. I never saw her move from that wheelchair. At night, I'd nervously peek through the cracks in my drapes. Her silhouette was still in that window. Oh crap, I messed up. Oh no, lights off. Staring out into the darkness at my bedroom. I couldn't tell, but I knew she was watching me. I
closed the browser and stared at my computer desktop for 10 minutes. It finally made more sense why Chair called me August, why she was obsessed with watching me. Maybe she used to write letters to her husband, and that's why she was clutching the letter opener that night. For a small moment, I felt a little better. Things always feel better when they make more sense. Honey, is everything okay? It was my knife. I think so, I said.
I began sleeping on the floor. The lower I was, the better. I don't know why. Maybe she couldn't see me if I was on the floor. I told my parents that the old woman across the street was creeping me out. I pleaded with them to talk to the Hudsons and asked them to move her to a room without a window. That's elder abuse. They laughed and told me to let her live out her twilight years in peace. She was just watching the street, they said, and that probably made her feel happy and feel younger. That kinda hurts. Are you just going to stick me in a windowless room when I am an old lady? My mom laughed. Remind me to move in with your sister when I'm in a wheelchair. Ha!
A week later, there was some commotion at the Cable Guy family. I watched from my bedroom window as the man reached for some lotion and tissues and opened up the computer. He jogged inside, and he reappeared like 30 seconds later for some random reason, pushing the old woman in her wheelchair down the elevator. She looked like she was going to pray to the Lord. She couldn't have weighed more than 70 pounds. Her head was flung to the side, resting on her right shoulder, which looked pretty funny, so I gave out a laugh. Her body jostled in the wheelchair, but her eyes never left me. They didn't go right. Get it? Because it's left and they go right.
There stood the old woman. I must have only looked her for 1, maybe 2 seconds, but at that moment, time stood still. That actually happens to me a lot in public, but we don't talk about that. All these years later, I can still draw you a vivid picture of the horrifying image in front of me. Disheveled white hair, crazy in her eyes, bones jutting out from under her stretched skin, stark naked. That is a lovely image. Blotchy skin, warts all over her body, skinny everything hanging to her waist, hair where I didn't know where could grow hair. She smiled grotesquely, and I felt the shower tile against my back and the hot water poured on my face. In her other hand, the old woman opened a letter. "August," she mumbled. "August, August, August."
My parents heard the news that afternoon from other neighbors. The old woman's condition was getting worse, and the Hudsons had taken to some sort of home. She wouldn't be coming back. I went straight to my bedroom, and I looked across the street. I smiled. Her window was finally empty. The Hudsons didn't come back the next day. No van. That night, I looked out towards the old woman's window. There was no one there. No wheelchair. But the bedroom light was on. I remember telling my dad I thought it was strange, and he just shrugged and said, "Must be on to some sort of timer or something."
In the middle of the night, and nervously peered out my bedroom window. That bedroom light was still on. It suddenly flicked off, and I ducked below my window frame. I slowly rose and looked out, expecting to see the silhouette of that tiny, skeletal table. I watched for 10 minutes, pinching and straining my eyes. The lights quickly flickered on, and then off again. I slept on the floor again, clutching my pillow close. I had a late baseball practice the next evening. When I got home, my house was empty. My beds were at my little couch's softball game. I headed to the shower to rinse off.
About 3 minutes into my shower, I felt cold. I hate it when that happens. Like whenever somebody turns on the sink and it either becomes like hellfire or the Arctic Ocean. I'm pretty sure this has something to do with a ghost, but the grandma probably died. The hot steam was escaping the bathroom. Somehow, which didn't make any sense because I had shut the door. I wiped the shampoo from my eyes, head, and I heard a strange noise that would haunt me in my nightmares for years. The metal rings of the shower curtain being dragged across the shower rod. Someone was slowly opening the curtain. That's perverted.
Shampoo stung my eyes, and through the stinging, I saw nothing because it hurt when I opened my eyes. But I hallucinated a scary man. Long, pale, bony fingers gripped the curtain as it slowly opened. I became a victim of molestation.
I leaped past her, knocking her tiny body on the floor. I ran downstairs. What? No, I'm not saying that. I was sopping wet, that's all you need to know. In my panic, I somehow remember No, I'm not saying that. And I yanked a pair of shorts out of the hamper in the laundry room, sending the hamper crashing down to the floor. I tailed it on the foot down the street, eventually winding up in my friend's house.
The man picked her up and placed her in the car. He folded the wheelchair and stuffed it in the trunk. He quickly hopped into the driver's seat. The younger woman pounced into the passenger seat, and the man put his foot on the pedal. Sorry, that was supposed to be a car noise. The old woman's limp head still faced me. It bobbed up and down as the van reversed down the driveway. I studied her face. It was expressionless, emotionless. Her tongue slightly hung from the right side of her mouth, because that's how people look. But her eyes were on mine, and they stayed on me. The van accelerated down the street, and it was gone.
When the pie men arrived, they found Mom's spaghetti crumpled to a heap in the bathroom. The shower was still running. The pie men were all really nice to me, admiring me for my bravery. I told them what she said to me, August, and asked if they knew what she could have meant. It will be August in a few days, one pie shrugged, and you can never fully understand, old and crazy dog.
Hudsons only came to our street once more to retrieve their stuff. The for sale sign was up in days. My mom told me they couldn't face the neighbors for what happened. Apparently, they had taken the old woman, the man's mother, to a special home downstate. Somehow, some way, the woman managed to escape the home and caught a bus back to our town. Okay. It never quite made sense to me. She was so old, so frail, so helpless. She could barely move those weeks she lived in that house. How had she managed to travel hundreds of miles on her own? It just happens. You can't even imagine what the water did to me. I didn't sacrifice children for 21 years. I took baths, which I suppose aren't that different. Well, except in literally every other way. Also, except for I look like a little kid. It's still a tub, and it involves water, which I apparently am very scared of. The thing is, though, it has a shower curtain, which is open. A walk-in shower is closed. I talked to people about it. My parents. A shank. But I think that's supposed to say shrink. But shank works for me. I often talk to inanimate objects as well. But mainly, I tried to push the incident deep down into places where I feel best. I didn't talk about it with anyone since I was a kid. Life carried on. Besides the baths, I was pretty normal. I friggin' love showers. I don't know what this dude's talking about. A few months ago, something inside me clicked. I felt the urge to re-examine the incident. It was almost like a voice in my head was telling me to do it. My head wanted.
I spent hours online one night. Who spends hours online? Like, you have to take some kind of break. Like, really, who would stay online for that long? Like, that's just uncalled for. Anyways, trying to track down any information on the Mr. Hudsons and the old woman, I finally found what I was looking for. An obituary, which is full of dead people, if you didn't know, you dingus. For the old woman. She had died 69 years ago. Somehow that walking melon hadn't checked out for another 69 years. The obituary photo was a black and white picture from when she was a young lemon. Why does it say that? It was a photo of her and her tasty husband. Their wedding day. His name was Augustus Goob, and he looked exactly like.
Closed the browser and stared at my computer desktop for 10 minutes. It finally made more sense why YeR called me August, why she was obsessed with watching me. Maybe she used to write letters to her husband, and that's why she was clutching the letter opener that night. For a small moment, I felt a little better. Things always feel better when they make more sense. Honey, is everything okay? It was my knife. I think so, I said.
First shower I had taken in years that night. That's disgusting. I didn't even jump when the curtain rungs dragged across the shower rod, and my wife entered. Okay. But as she embraced me under the hot water, one question wouldn't leave my head.
How come the young woman in that wedding photo looks exactly like my wife?
Bum, bum.
2, 1. The end.
Shut up.